Hello and thank you for watching. I'm Jennifer Bowman with Olympia Piano, and this video is part 3 of my Beethoven Für Elise tutorial series. And in this video, we will be covering the C section of Für Elise, which is this part. So let's get right to the tutorial. In our last video, we finished off at measure 38, so we will continue from that point. So next, measures 38 to 58 are another A section, same rhythmic consideration as the first A section, but no repeats this time. Again, there will be a note played on every subdivision and only together on beat 1. So then when this A section is over, we get to the C section, which begins in measure 59. I call this the storm section with my students. It's a darker section. The B section was nice and sunny. This is the stormy section. At any rate, in this part, the rhythm is very straightforward. So what I'm going to do is actually just play and talk through this section slowly. The left hand plays 16th notes all the time until the very end of this section. So all we really have to do here is know how many left hand 16ths go with what kind of note the right hand is playing. So if we have an 8th note in the right hand, we're going to have 2 16ths. If we have a quarter note in the right hand, we're going to have 4 16ths. If we have a dotted quarter note, we're going to have 6 16ths. And if we have a 16th, they're going to play together. Okay, so I'm going to start in measure 56, transitioning into the C section. We'll talk about fingering in the left hand in another video. There's a few different ways you can do it. You can alternate fingering. You might see me mixing up the fingering a little bit. I'm concentrating on how many left hand notes go with the right hand notes. So let's do that nice and slow, starting in measure 56. Notes. 4, together, together, 4, together, 6, 4, together, together, 4 notes, 2 notes, 2, 2, 2, 6. Gets 6 16ths. Quarter gets 4. Together, together, 4. And 6. 4. 4. 2. 4. 2. 1. 2. Off. 1. Off. Off. At the end of this section, measures 75 and 76, just be really mindful that you pay attention to the note values and rests here. The first chord is a quarter note, so it's going to be 1 and 2 and off, 1, off, off. It creates anticipation and mystery. Now, measures 77 to 81, all of a sudden we have another rhythm to think about. We've had 1 note per beat, 1 and 2 and 3 and. We've had 2 notes per beat, 1 and 2 and 3 and with the 16th notes. And we've had 4 notes per beat with the 32nd notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now Beethoven's giving you the final option of 3 notes per beat. These are called triplets. They'll be 16th note triplets. You see how they're bracketed together with a little 3 at the top. So what that means is we're splitting each beat into 3 now. So it'll feel like this, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. And so for measures 77 to 81, we're going to have a triplet subdivision. The first thing you want to do is figure out exactly which fingering you're going to be playing for this section. And I will talk about that in the video on fingering. But once you figure that out, then start getting used to what the subdivision of 3 feels like. We'll count that 1 and 2 and 3 and By the way, the pattern for 77 and 78 is exactly the same. I'm going to use fingers 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2. And I'll repeat that pattern. So it's going to feel like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and spread out and 2 and 3 and Now a little more quickly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. So once you have the feeling of the triplets, the next thing we're going to do is work on the transition from measure 74 to the beginning of the triplets, because you kind of have to change how you're feeling those subdivisions. So you're going to want to do one measure with 1 and 2 and 3 and, that's measure 74. Measure 75, the one with the quarter note, just do single beats, no subdivision. Then the next measure with that 8th note chord on measure 76, you're going to start thinking triplet subdivisions. 1 and 2 and 3 and then you'll be ready for those triplets. By the way, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but it is a great idea to get used to counting out loud. Your brain hears the information from a different perspective, and it's a really valuable tool we can use while learning music. So let's do that transition. We'll do it nice and slow. So we'll start with subdivision of 2. I'm talking measure 74. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, off. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Now a little more quickly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, off. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Right away, there's another super important transition between measures 81 and 82. Bringing us back to the final A section from this C section. So as you're coming down this chromatic scale, you'll see up there, it's triplets, 1 and 2 and 3 and now all of a sudden we don't have triplets anymore. Now there's just the regular 6/16 notes, regular subdivision. First you want to know where the triplets are ending. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and they end on the E of our melody. So, and you'll be playing that with your thumb. I want you to notice, look what's highlighted above. We've got our transition melody again, only 2 E's on the transition from the C section back to the A section. So not 3 E's, 2 for this melody. So we'll have 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, then keep going with the melody. And then finally, notice that regardless which fingering you're using for the chromatic, here I'm using 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, kind of standard fingering with all the 3s on the blacks. Immediately, once you get to that E, you're going to have a crossover with fingers 3 and 4. So I tell my students we put our brakes on as we're doing the crossover, and then we ease back into that melody. So slowly, from the chromatic, starting on measure 81, it'll sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. Now a little bit more quickly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and you really want to work hard on the fingering for this transition because it's really awesome if you can just kind of melt into the slower tempo right there where that melody comes back. And then we're back to what we had before, something happening on every 16th note subdivision, hands together on beat 1. And thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you'll subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. As I mentioned, a video on some of the more complicated fingering options in this piece is coming soon. So thanks for watching.